What is up, you guys? Welcome to another video. My name is Arman. If you're new to the channel, I'm a Toronto-based deep and progressive house DJ and producer. And this YouTube channel is full of video tutorials and lessons for beginner and you intermediate level DJs as well to improve your skills. If you get some value out of this video, please subscribe to the channel, share this with any friends who are getting into DJing. I hope you guys can learn something and get some value out of these videos. To my current subscribers, sorry for not updating the channel in a while. I'm going to try to return to doing one tutorial video per week. It's summertime here in Toronto, so getting pretty busy with a few weekend trips, keeping up with my day job, and also plenty of gigs. In fact, at the end of this video, I've put together a little special video clip compilation from my favorite gig of the year to date. In June, I was able to open for Lawler at a beautiful outdoor venue in Toronto on the lake. And so that was a real treat also to play one of my original tracks called Tiddlywinks for a big crowd for the first time. It was a real treat to do that and an honor as always to play for Lawler. Thanks to everyone who came out and danced the night away. My live recorded set, it's with my side project Arman and Beynon. We've uploaded that set both to my SoundCloud page and also the Arman and Beynon SoundCloud page. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to hear the full set that we played. All right, so moving to today's topic. What does it mean to mix between the breaks? Mixing between the breaks means the little breaks in the songs where you don't have a kick or a beat and you just get down to a melody or perhaps just the hi-hats, and then the kick comes back after a little bit of a break in the song. So most songs have a big breakdown in the middle with a build up and a drop, as we know, but there's also little smaller breaks at the beginning and end or near the beginning and end of the songs. So mixing between the breaks refers to using those beginning and outro type of breakdowns. What you want to do is try to sync them up in terms of the timing so that when a breakdown at the end of the song that's currently playing is ending and you have, say a 16 measure breakdown, then the kick comes back in. You want the new kick coming in the new song after a little breakdown or that first heavier kick when that new song gets going. You want that kick to arrive at the same time as the kick that's coming in after the last breakdown in the old song. So you're kind of coordinating the energy levels. These kicks land at the same time and it creates more of a seamless energy level through the songs as you're mixing across them. And it can also be used to really ramp the energy level up if you feel like bringing in the new song's kick a bit louder, a bit more intensely. It can really kind of pick up the energy level if you're trying to move the set into a more driving energy and try and pick up the dance floor and get people moving more. So how can we do this? Well, I guess purists and all the haters on the internet will say you should be, because I've been through this before, that you should be able to count the measures and know the music by heart and do it by ear. Well, think that through for a second. You would have to be able to count all of the measures throughout the entire first song, or at least memorize how many measures are going to play from, I guess, the time of the last breakdown until that kick that you want to align with the new song. But on the new song, you'd have to memorize and know how many measures from when you first press play on that song till the time that kick that you want to align with the last drop in the last song, how long that's going to be. So you'd have to really be counting the measures and paying very careful attention while beat matching, while reading the crowd, while thinking about what kind of music you want to play next. And just it's not practical. And I think anyone who tells you otherwise and that you should be able to do this by ear is probably lying or has not DJed in a club environment with lots of distractions and all of the focus and energy that it takes to pull off a good mix in a live environment. So how do we do this? You can do it a couple of ways. If you play using cue points, if you set cue points on Tractor or on Pioneer CDJs, you can certainly use the cue points to help line things up. But even if you don't use the cue points, it's not that difficult because we have the technology of having a graphic representation of the waveform on your screens, on your turntables, or on your laptop screen if you're using Tractor or Serato or some other software. You can see what you need to do and you can simply try and time it in advance, use those cue points, or also if you take a crack at doing it by guessing, when you think, with some educated guess, when you think you should hit play on that next song, but you don't quite align it perfectly, you just use the loop feature, right? So one song needs to play a little bit longer to let the other song catch up, so those new kicks are going to land at the same time. You just use the loop feature to buy yourself a bit of time, right? So that's typically what I've done where I haven't actually aced it by kind of making it as educated guess. But I really don't think counting the measures is that practical with all of the other work that goes into DJing. I suppose if you're playing on vinyl, then you have to know your music like the back of your hand. And there's really not that many vinyl DJs left these days in the electronic music world. And sad reality is a lot of us have to have day jobs. There's only a very lucky few of us who are able to make a full-time living being a DJ, which means you're not going to know your music. You're simply not going to know your music library as much as someone who is a full-time DJ and who can spend the time measuring the lengths and memorizing the lengths of these breakdowns. So I'm going to show you some examples on the turntable of how this is done. But first, let's look at the two songs we're going to use on the computer screen so we can point out for you where the breakdowns occur and what we're aiming to do. Let's take a look. Here we are in Record Box. I have the two tracks we're going to play with loaded in. On the top you have Vinternat, Nora En Pure and Sons of Maria Remix. And down here you have XII by Avidus. So what we'll do when we go to the decks is you'll hear these in digital quality, but for now, sorry, it's just my microphone. I couldn't quite get it hooked up to get digital sound plus my mic in at the same time, but this should probably sound okay. So we'll play the Avidus track first, and this track sounds generally like this. And so here's one of the breakdowns, right, where you have no kick. Okay, but this breakdown here is quite a ways into the track. But if you notice at the end, there's a breakdown, a final breakdown here, right before the track is going to come to an end. So what we should aim for is right when that kick comes back in over there, is look at the track we're going to be mixing in. The Nora En Pure track up here sounds like this. Okay, but you can see that there's a small breakdown here and not as much of a beat over here. You can see the waveform is smaller. See how that sounds until this bigger kick comes in over here. Right, so that's the moment where this track kind of gets kicked off and really gets going. So what you'd aim to do, if you're mixing between the breaks with these two tracks, is having this track down here, the Avidus track, finishing up. And when that kick lands there, you want to time it so that this kick here on the Nora En Pure track, that kick lands at the same time. And that's really going to keep your energy level nice and consistent, or even ramp it up a bit depending on the volume you bring that kick in. So let's go to the turntables and try this with digital sound so you'll be able to hear everything perfectly.